Hey everyone, I'm Justin with AmericanMuscle.com, and today we're taking a closer look at and installing the Corsa Performance Cold Air Intake System in carbon fiber, available for all 2018 through 2023 Mustang GTs. Now you should consider the Corsa Cold Air for your Coyote powered ride if you want to go with one of the, I would say, nicer options in the category here. A no tune required system to help increase the horsepower and torque on your S550, but at the same time make a big dramatic impact under the hood in regards to the carbon fiber finish. All right guys, let's start off with some of the numbers here according to Corsa. First up, 20 and 11. That's the amount of horsepower and torque the Ohio-based company is claiming is possible with their cold air system installed. Now, Corsa claims these numbers are made possible thanks to the nearly 20% increase in airflow over your factory airbox and cheap paper element factory filter. Now, more flow usually equates to more power, and that certainly seems to be the case here with the Corsa. Now, moving away from the numbers and getting into some of your other features here with this one, one of the biggies for me traditionally with intakes is the addition of a sealed enclosure. Certainly going to be crucial in maintaining that nice, fresh, cool air as opposed to ingesting hot engine bay air, and that's really going to be great for performance. Now, I just prefer these enclosures when performance is number one, and this one has been done very well. Finally, we cannot mention, or cannot forget to mention, I should say, the absolutely stunning carbon fiber build and appearance of the tube here. We'll have more on this in the next block, but when we're talking features, it really is something that jumps out at you, and in my opinion, really helps separate this kit from a majority of the other cold airs on the market. But now let's get into that construction a bit more, and I do want to start off with that airbox that we just talked about, along with the filter itself. Now, this kit will be featuring what is called the DryTech dry filter that is cleanable, has a 40 to 50,000 mile service interval. Of course, it does also offer this with their MaxFlow oiled filter for owners out there who might prefer an oiled option instead. Traditionally, oiled filters might flow marginally better, but they do require more maintenance at the end of the day, so it's kind of a give and take in my book. Now, the DryTech filter that we have here will live, again, in that very nice sealed one-piece enclosure. Does have the removable plexiglass with the Corsa lettering baked in there. I think it looks really sharp, and it certainly does allow you to keep an eye on the filter cleanliness over time. But again, coming back to maybe one of my favorite parts here about this particular kit will be the real carbon fiber intake tube. This isn't some plastic tube that's been hydro dipped in a carbon fiber liquid or whatever. This is the real deal here, guys, and not only will it look amazing under the hood, but it's also going to be extremely lightweight and resist heat soak. I would say even better than some of your aluminum intakes out on the market. Now, the Corsa does kick in everything else needed for the install, including your clamps, couplers, all that good stuff. Really going to make for a very easy install, as you'll see in a little bit. Finally, guys, always like to point this out as well. The entire system is backed by a lifetime warranty. I should say a majority of the system is backed by a lifetime warranty. There is one lone exception, that is the filter itself here. Does still get a warranty, although it's just a 1-year warranty. But again, everything else, lifetime, and that is pretty solid. Price point is certainly going to be quite the eye-opener for some owners. There's no doubt about that, guys, because at nearly $800, this is going to round out the extreme upper end of the price spectrum for the S550 cold airs out there. In fact, the only one even more expensive is also from Corsa. They actually offer a dry forged carbon fiber tube, which if anything actually looks better than this, it might just be that. Definitely check that out as well, but you're going to spend another $100 on top of the carbon that we have here. Now, with all that being said, if you wanted to really stick with the Corsa name, you like what they do in the exhaust world, and trust me, they certainly got their stuff together here in the intake world, well, you could always kick that price down dramatically by just checking out their standard plastic tube version. It's going to save you roughly $400 in the process, so it brings it down to basically the meat of the category as far as other intakes are concerned. Certainly a little bit more affordable, but again, you're just going to be foregoing the really, really sharp carbon here, and that really does contribute to the higher price point with this particular kit. All right, guys, now we want to shift gears and talk more about the installation. And because cold airs are traditionally a pretty easy and straightforward modification, the site is going to stick to a solid 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter here, taking you, they say, at least 20 minutes from start to finish. If this is your first one, maybe a little bit longer, but really shouldn't be that bad for you. And to give you a little bit more confidence heading out to the garage or driveway, let's check out our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
The tools used for the install were the following: a T20 Torx driver, 10mm spanner, a ratchet, an 11mm deep socket, an extender, a 10mm deep socket, pliers, 2 trim removal tools. You might be able to get away with 1, I needed 2, a number 2 Phillips driver, and a flathead screwdriver. Hello! Today we are going to replace our stock cold air intake with the Corsa Performance Carbon Fiber one. So let's get to it. First, take a trim removal tool like this one and remove those caps on the 2 sides of the engine cover. Next, take a 10mm deep socket wrench and remove the 2 screws holding down the cover to the engine. With the screws removed, pull up on the engine cover and take it off. Next, disconnect the mass flow sensor. It has a tab underneath, so just pull back on that and take it off like this. Then take your trim removal tool and pull out the tab and just place it aside so it's out of the way. Next, we're gonna remove the tubing connected to the cold air intake. For this one, just push down on the tab and pull it back. For the sound tube, you will need some pliers and a flathead screwdriver to take it off. Press the tab, then use the flathead. There we go. Here at the shock tower, you have another tab that's holding down the sound tube. Just take your trim removal tool, it off. Then for the final tube, you have a little tab at the bottom. You push that and you pull it off like that. Next, with our 10mm socket wrench, we remove the screw that is holding the Next, using a flathead screwdriver, we are going to loosen up the clamps that fix this conduit to the throttle body. Next, we're going with a flathead screwdriver. We are going to loosen up the clamp that fix the cold air intake tube to the throttle body. Once that is done, you can take off the entire box. Just like that. The sound tube is fastened to the firewall with that screw over there, and the tolerances around that are pretty tight. So you will need a 10mm wrench to loosen that screw and hopefully manually unscrew it. I tried unscrewing the gas pedal and getting to it from the other side, but it just doesn't work. So see you in a bit after I unscrewed it. Okay, managed to unscrew the screw. So now we can take off the sound tube. Like this, and toss it. After removing the sound tube, you can see a hole in the firewall here, and the package comes with this cap that you're supposed to plug into that hole. However, this doesn't look very deep, so I decided to plug this in from the other side. To that end, I already unscrewed the gas pedal that was here, like this. So once you do that, you expose the hole in the firewall. There. So I'm going to just put this in here. Like that. So it doesn't fall out. And rescrew the pedals. Like that. See you in a bit. After removing the sound tube, you will see a hole in the firewall right around there. And the package comes with this plug that you can plug in there to conceal that hole. And that is what we're going to do. Before we move on with the install, we need to transfer a few things from the old box to the new one. First of all, you will see this grommet here with its bushing. So take a flathead screwdriver, pull that off, and take off the grommet. Like that. And you need to install it into that hole over there. I'm gonna do it off camera so it's easier for me. Just like that. It's nice and snug in there. So now take that bushing we took off and push it in there. Now we take the bushing that we took out from the other one and push it through, like that. Now we can install the new box into the car. Tolerances are very tight. That'll do. Now, moving on, from your old intake, you need to remove the mass airflow sensor. For that, you will need a Torx T20 screwdriver, and just unscrew these two screws. Like that. And remove the sensor. Just like that. Then take your new shiny Corsa tube and attach a sensor, this time with a Phillips head, screwdriver, and the two screws that they attached. The package. Just like that. Some videos online show that there is a gasket that you put between the sensor and the tube. Mine did not come with any, and I didn't see one on the old tube either, so I'm gonna just attach it as is. Don't go crazy with the screws. And there you go. The mass airflow sensor is attached. Another change that Corsa seems to have made is that you have these two adapters that will attach to your hoses on the car. In previous videos I saw these would screw in. That is no longer the case. Now Corsa provides these grommets that you put into these holes, and then you just stick these in. So let's do just that. Put in the first one, like that, nice and easy. And the thicker one of the adapters will plug in into this band. And Take it slowly. I tried it once before and I pushed through the entire grommet. So while twisting, slowly apply pressure and it will eventually go in. Nice and easy, just like that. And then you take the other grommet, put it here, to the other hole. Make sure that it's out the other side. Seems to be good. And then you take the thinner adapter and you plug it in here. There we go. And that's pretty much it. Next, we take the filter and put it into the box. Tolerances are pretty tight, so work it a little bit. There we go. We have the clamp. Put it on here for now. Then you take this rubber adapter thingy with the smallest one of the clamps, and you go ahead and attach this to the throttle body. Like that. Next, we take our 11mm socket wrench and tighten the clamp onto the throttle body. Like that. Make sure it's nice and snug. Next, we have this rubber seal that needs to go into the box opening. It's longer than the perimeter of the opening, so this needs to be cut. So let's measure that. Like that. Now we take our filter, put it through the hole. So the filter wouldn't really fit through the hole without pushing out that entire plastic ring. So what I did was I clamped down the mouth of it as much as I could, put a dent in it. So that reduced the diameter, and using this technique I managed to push it out. It did push out the ring a little bit, but because now I have a space right there next to where the screw is, I could reattach it to the box. So this is how I got it in finally. And now let's release the clamp. Actually see if we can pull it off. Yep. There we go. Put the other clamp on. This plastic ring here. And let's attach the main tube. And then we go ahead and tighten the clamps. Again, 11mm socket wrench. That. And then using a flathead screwdriver, we tighten this filter. That. And then we go ahead and reattach this setup filter. And I'm noticing that this is too tight now, so I need to remove this clamp. And then go ahead and reattach the mass airflow filter, which won't work because this now is too tight, so I will have to remove this plastic directly. This work. In order to cut down the slack a little bit, I might just weave it between this holes here. And then attach it. Well, pretty snug. And then we attach the tubes. which won't work. Interestingly enough. I might need to undo this. Okay, here we go. Brilliant. So I had to move the clamp a little bit out of the way so the hose could attach. But even now, like it doesn't look like it's perfectly aligned. Fortunately, the grommet has a little bit of give. So let's see if we can put this on. And then finally, this guy attached to the bottom. Lifter. Everything is okay. Looks okay. Everything is snug. And sure enough, there's the color. Let's put it back on. And sure enough, there's the color. Let's put it back on. A little bit. And there we have it.
So there you have it, guys. That is a wrap on the review and install of the Corsa Performance Cold Air Intake System in carbon fiber, available for all 2018 to 2023 Mustang GTs. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.